Hi, I'm Mateusz Zagelski and I want to welcome you to my very first tutorial. Recently I made two Magic Lantern RAW videos on my 5D Mark II and some of you asked how I've done certain stuff, so I wanted to make this tutorial to give the community some stuff back too. Okay, let's jump right into the action. What you get from the camera, which is recording with Magic Lantern, are RAW files. These first need to be transcoded. Here you go, RAW files. And as you can see, these RAW files are pretty big, so better make sure you got enough space on your hard drive. Here's RAW to DNG, don't use this one, download the newest RAW Magic. This works way better, where you can preview the DNGs, what you couldn't with RAW to DNG. Select all of them, simply drag and drop them into RAW Magic. Hit convert, find your destination folder. There we go, desktop folder, new folder. Let's call it DNG. Okay, create, choose, thank you, and hit convert. Now this is creating everything itself. It makes folders for every sequence that you just shot and dragged into this program. Now you can wait for it to finish. I just want you to know that I'm using German applications, but I'm doing this tutorial in English, so those of you who get English, just try to stick to what I'm saying. And those of you who don't get English that good, just try to get it by how I am doing it. Obviously it's gonna take a while, so see you after the jump. You know that it is ready when this column is empty, so you can close RAW Magic and go to your destination folder. So let's have a look what we've created. Here's the pictures that I made that day, the RAW files, and let's go to DNG. Here you can see all the folders that RAW Magic created. It creates lots of DNGs, which can be graded, which work like a raw image. And let's search for better scene, for example. Here, yeah, this looks way better. Here you can see that these are all single images, single raw DNG images, and you can simply grade them afterwards in Lightroom. Have a quick check how this other stuff worked out. Looks quite good, no artifacts, no false frames, nice. So we can jump right into grading with Lightroom 5. Drag and drop the folder, and now the fun part gets started. When you import so many pictures into Lightroom, there are some facts that you need to know. That Lightroom is not made for so many files to import, so it's a bit longer. Just take the subfolders to get any picture that you just dropped. And here you can see how it's building up the pictures and the file size. So this really needs to stop before you can continue importing. I made this mistake in the past, that I hit import too enthusiastic, too fast, and all of a sudden it ended in frustrations because I was missing frames and didn't know where to get, because the folders had all the images. I couldn't import them anymore. So really take care of this. Simply make a double check, go to your DNG folder, hit Command I for specifications, and here you go. This looks pretty good, close to 23,000, the same that we got in Lightroom. And yeah, now we can import it, that's sure. Drag this up again and same file size, hit import. Okay, this process now too is going to take a little while, of course depending on your processor speed and how fast your computer is working, but this is where everything is starting. You can see the DNG folder, you see the first folder, the first scene, you can see the process up here. Just need to wait till it's finished, and there are more popping up. See after the jump when it's ready, we can finally continue and start grading. You know that it's ready when this taskbar above here is disappearing and you can see all the folders that you've imported down here. Make a quick check. This looks good. Super many scenes, super many files. I switch lenses a lot. I tried out some new stuff, so I'm really curious how this is gonna look like. Let's take this scene for grading. Yeah, this is perfect. You can see all the frames down here. Hit the develop module, and now this is where everything begins. This is your main frame. Squeeze it. No, it does not want to, no problem. Easy with one click, you can zoom in. Yeah, I really love it so far. And now I want to show you what RAW is capable of. You can pull down the lights or pull them up and you still have data of your image. This is awesome, and you could have never done it with the regular DSLR footage. And this module right here gives you totally freedom of how you want to grade the image. There's close to nothing that you really are missing. So this is really the real deal for me for now. Before that, we had a little bit tint problems, but the awesome team of Magic Lantern managed to fix this. So this is one little step in your process that saves time. This is fixed. Let's start doing it. Add a little bit of warmth. Yeah, that's quite nice. That's enough. What I usually start with is I crank down a bit the clarity, but in addition to that, I go up with the contrast to get nicer edges. Get the lows up and the mid-tones down just to make a little bit more of dynamic range. This looks quite nice already. Desaturate a little bit, just a little bit. And now go to the curves. I want to have a little bit of faded look just to give it a little bit more of analog feeling. This is pretty fast and simple created here in Lightroom 5. Here you go, here we done, and now we can go to different channels. Let's take the red one because I want some reds in the darker tones. Here you are, and add some green ones to the lighter ones. Oh, no, not this way, the other way around. Yeah, like this. This starts, now I just want to have them in the lighter tones, so I get it in the mid-tones down just a slightly bit up here. And this is done. You can now go down and manipulate any color you want to. The reds look quite good. Just quick check. Yes. The oranges look quite nice as well because we had a really nice location that they just give a bit more luminosity and a little less saturation to give it a more hard look. Go down again. I always push the magentas completely to red and a little bit of lilac to the left to give the blues a better blue feeling. Here you can sharpen the image. This is really a module where you can sharpen how you want to. This is what I usually do. I put it in between 50 and 60 and the radius is between 0.6 and 0.7. If you hit Alt key and drag this ruler, you can make a fast masking. What works awesome if you just want particular edges to get manipulated by the sharpening tool. Here you are. I don't think that you're gonna get the difference, but it really looks awesome. Sharpened footage is really nice this way. Okay, get back to it. Now we can continue. If we go down here, we get to the noise control, just get the color noise up. This always works for me. This is like a sure shot. And this is what I really like, that you can adjust your camera lens profile. I use on this particular shot, I use a 28mm IS, the newest one from Canon. Here you go, just to make sure that you remember which lens you are using in which scene, because this is not containing any EXIF data. So it's always good to try to remember what you've done during shooting. The vignette is alright as it is. Simply, if you don't like an adjustment, double click on what is saying, what the adjustment is saying. Go down. Don't use any grain. Please don't use Lightroom grain because it is static, and if you leave it like this, you're gonna have the same grain on every frame, and this is just gonna look like an awful layer. Now, don't use any straightening automatism because it's not working. Chroma aberration you can hit, but this one will not work well with all your frames. Color if you really want to, but I wouldn't recommend that either to do it too much. If it really gets to perspective correction, you can hit the last one, manual, but that's it for grading for the beginning. How we can continue now is we got this frame, we go to the middle and we search for another one, just a random one, click on it, and now you hit on the previous button, which copies all the settings that you've done on the first frame. Here you can see, and you make further adjustments. I don't like that it's so white, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull down the whites a bit, and push up. No, other way around. I pull down the lights and push up the whites. This is how we do it. Okay. Continue, little double check. This is before and after. I really like the outcome, and we're gonna have a further look in post-processing on how we can work with the ProRes files, but later on. Go to the second frame, hit previous again, and now you have an immediate before and after of your second changes. You can see how the lights get a bit more of detail. This is all about the dynamic range when we're shooting, and this is a little tweak, but it's very important and very nice looking. push Command A, synchronize everything, make sure the checkboxes are to apply to everything that you just made, and now the whole sequence is graded. Simply now we copied every setting that we made in the first frame to any other given setting. Make a double check, click on a frame, on a random frame again. Okay, this is taking a while, of course, because many frames is a big scene. I can start popping up. Come on, computer. Yeah, just a second. Here you go. Here it comes. This works awesome too. I'm really satisfied with the outcome. This was a quick grading, but a quick and good grading. Sometimes it's less work, that it's a nicer work. And I really, really like it so far. What you can do. Another way to approaching your color editing is working with presets in Lightroom. When you, for example, already done some work, what I've done in advance, I want to show you, you can save them as presets. It's pretty easy. Here's my preset list. Here I go. Berlin Teufelsberg, this is our location, and this is what I've played around thus far. Here you can see all my changes being copied. Take a random frame again, copy it again. It works quite nice too. This really gives a different look, and you can play around the whole day, but and in the end you really need to make a decision because before you haven't worked with this kind of possibilities, it can take the whole day just searching around different looks and trying around different stuff. But let's keep it simple. Let's keep it to what we've done so far. Make a double check, take the middle one. This works nice too. You can see it's a bit greenish in the darks, the opposite that we've done before. That's okay. Here could adjust it again, but let's jump to my first scene. Hit Command A just to select every frame. Here you go, and now Shift Command E for exporting. This window will pop up where you can set your saving settings. I usually go before the folder with an OO, just to have the folder right at the top of every folder that I'm using, because these are the files that I am working with. You can pick the format, you can pick any given format you want, original DNG, TIFF, PSD, JPEG. If you use JPEG to save someplace, make sure that it's 100%. But let's do this for this example by the book. A resolution of 240 dpi, hit export. And now Lightroom is going to start exporting. This needs some time again. Don't forget, we got 573 raw pictures, so be patient. Don't overdo stuff in the beginning. This really takes its time. It's preparing to export. Now there's a jump. And now you can see again up here how the process is. During this process, depending on your speed of your computer, you can already start searching through the different scenes. You can sort out. You can see here just 12 frames. Something was wrong. Here should be something wrong too. But you can do work in the meanwhile. Yeah, really looking forward to show you this video. But like you see, it's really gonna take its while. If this one is off, you'll be sure that it is done. You can jump back to your DNG folder, and here you are. Here's the scene we've just graded. Here's my OO TIFF folder. Here are all the TIFFs that Lightroom has done. Click space for a quick preview. Push down, and you can see that every frame's been adjusted with the settings I've made so far. This looks awesome. And to compile this, I use QuickTime Pro 7. Simply push Command Shift O for a sequence import. Now search for your folder that you want to have. This is desktop DNG. My folder of the sequence, OO TIFF again. Hit the first frame, 24 frames per second. Hit OK. And now this is what QuickTime is doing. It gives you an immediate motion picture of it. Okay, I don't know why this is now not going to the frame size, but nonetheless you can preview it. This is how it looks like, and this is just a really simple, fast, raw edit, and you can just imagine how much you can do with it. You can go in every direction. You can lighten it, you can darken it, you can give different color tints. This is awesome. Thank you again, Magic Lantern, for that awesome job. Exporting is as easy as importing. Simply push Command E for export. Get to the folder that you want. Let's create a new one. Let's call it footage. Okay, now let's pick the name. Let's call the scene 001. For this, what we are doing is completely enough. And now I want to show you how my settings look like. I haven't done much. I simply picked the Apple ProRes 422 HQ. Haven't changed anything else. Hit OK. And now hit on save, and QuickTime is exporting it right now. The good thing about exporting it with QuickTime Pro is that you can export multiple files simultaneously. So if you would have done some work in advance and had some more scenes finished in Lightroom, you could have now picked these. This is what I usually do. I first grade them completely and then I jump into QuickTime. Let's wait till this is ready. Here we are. Close it again. Make a little check of the footage. It did everything work out. Here we go. 001. Hit the spacebar. Little preview. Yeah. And we are ready to start editing in Premiere. Yeah, so open your folder again. You can now easily delete the raw folder because we won't need these files anymore. We've done everything. Here we got the DNGs. Fire up Premiere. Set a new sequence. Set the name and stuff. We're gonna skip that for you. Okay, let's call this one Berlin NSA because it was a former NSA station where we shot this. This is your sequence setting. Take the resolution of the video. We shot it in 1880 by 800, 24 frames per second, no sound. And here we are. Now we can import our first sequence footage. Drag and drop into Premiere. Now drag and drop into the timeline. And here we go. Now we got the full working ProRes file in Premiere that we can grade and start doing fancy stuff with. That's awesome. First I get rid of the data I don't need. It's usually the beginning and the ending. I've shot this on a Flycam 3000, so it gets very shaky when I turn the camera on and off. Oh, here we got the pure footage now. It looks great. And the next step will be how I edit grain. In my last video, this was the one with the blonde girl dancing around. Of course, you can now tweak it anyhow you want. But the fun part begins with Gorilla Grain. Gorilla Grain offers a free pack. So this is a free pack that we are using. Here's 720p, but this is officially all right for what we are doing right now. Make sure to buy anything from Gorilla Grain that you can get because it's cheap and good service and you get it really fast. Here we go. Upscale it. Nobody will ever see that you upscaled it when you do not tell them. Some people ask me if you see it anywhere. Put it on screen or overlay, depends on how you want it. They usually say overlay. But this is no good. Überlagern, it's called in German. So, here we go. We just added grain. That's that simple. Lower the opacity so it gets a bit lower. If you want the grain to be a bit sharper, zoom to 100%, add some contrast or add some sharpness. Then this is how you can tweak a bit more grain and sharper grain. Yeah, you can see how it gets, because of the grain, it gets a little bit lighter. This is what we can fix later on. Let me first copy the grain. Here you go. One after another. Oh, it slipped. And yeah, it works fine. Copy another one. Pull it over. Got the not needing part off. And we got the fully grain color edited and super nice ProRes file out of my 5D Mark II. Now we're gonna take a sec and look how we upscale it. This is what the regular footage is, 1920 by 1870. If you should upscale it, it's a very simple calculating process, what anybody can find out. Now just stick to remain sequence settings, so the sequence won't adjust itself to the footage. Scale it to with 1-3 points. and you are now sure that you don't get any black edges. And again, people ask me if this is any kind changing the quality, but I'm of the opinion that it is not. And if you don't tell people that you scaled it, they will never tell, man, you scaled that picture by 1.3%. That's super easy. Let me just show you quickly how I get rid of the lightened image because of the grain. I take some gamma, put it over the clip, go to the settings. Here we are, not changing anything yet. Push this one to 11, you can already see. Yeah, this works quite good. You can still do other stuff like brightness and contrast, but for what we're doing right now, it works quite nice, and I really like the outcome. If I just push the gamma a bit, now you can start exporting it, hit Command M. This will open up a new window. Make sure it's Format QuickTime. For what I'm doing now, it's ProRes LT. Quality 70% is enough. I'm gonna post this video below in the description so you can download it and see what we've done today. Take the clip resolution, the sequence resolution, 1920 by 1870. You can use your previews if you've done some pre-rendering before. This speeds up the rendering, maximum depth. Okay, rename it. We call this one Test 001. Hit save, and now you can easily go on and hit export. Now the footage is exporting. We are done. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, didn't fall asleep yet. Like I said, this is my very first one. Leave something in the comments. We can have a short look of how it looks like. This is it, I must say. Okay, computer did some heavy rendering right now, but this is very beautiful. It's totally worth it, the pain going through all these programs, all these steps. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask anything in the comments below, or simply write me a personal message. So thank you very much again for watching, and maybe see you next time. Goodbye guys, ciao. If you like what you've seen today, and if you like the tutorial and you want to see more of my work, feel free to check out my website or my Facebook account. I'm gonna post it in the description of email. That's finally it. Have a good one. Bye.